everybody, and welcome back to Good Orderly Direction, Practical Tools of the Bible. Today we're discussing Genesis 27. Jacob gets Isaac's blessing. When Isaac had grown old and his eyesight was failing, he summoned his older son Esau and said to him, "I am old and I don't know when I will die. Go out to the field and hunt game for me and bring it to me so I can eat. Then I can bless you before I die." Now remember, a couple of chapters ago, Esau had given his blessing, his birthright, to Jacob, but Isaac doesn't know this. Rebekah was listening when Isaac spoke to his son Esau. When Esau went out to the field to hunt game to bring back, Rebekah said to Jacob, "I just heard your father saying to Esau, 'Bring me some game and make me some delicious food so I can eat, and I will bless you in the Lord's presence before I die.' Go to the flock and get me 2 healthy young goats so I can prepare them as the delicious food your father loves. You can bring it to him, he will eat, and then he will bless you before he dies." Jacob said to his mother, Esau is a hairy man. What if my father touches me and thinks I'm making fun of him? I will be cursed instead of blessed." His mother said to him, "Your curse will be on me, my son. Just listen to me. Go and get the lambs for me." Rebekah took her older son Esau's favorite clothes that were in the house with her and put them on her younger son Jacob. On his arms and smooth neck she put the hide of the young goats, and the delicious food and the bread she made she put into Jacob's hands. Jacob went to Isaac and said, "I'm Esau. I've made what you asked. Sit up and eat some of the game so you can bless me." It's important to note here, remember, Esau was Isaac's favorite. Esau was the oldest and by all rights was supposed to get the blessing, the birthright, the inheritance of that time. But remember, when Rebekah was pregnant with Jacob and Esau, God said, yeah, that's not actually how it's going to work out. Anyway, we might think about whether Isaac's eyesight growing dim may be a metaphor for not being able to clearly see God's will. Sometimes when our eyesight grows dim, we can't see clearly what we're supposed to do. Isaac is ignoring what God had told Rebekah, that the elder should serve the younger. In terms of good orderly direction, Esau had been rebellious, marrying women his family didn't approve of, giving away his birthright, and repeatedly disrespecting Isaac's wishes. So Esau was kind of making his own bed where he really didn't deserve the blessing. But he was arrogant enough to think that because he was the oldest, it didn't matter what he did. And it didn't matter that he had given it and made a solemn oath to give it to Jacob. Think about when you have done something because it was what you wanted, even though others told you it was a bad idea. Rebekah favored Jacob and had long dreamt of the day he would get his father's blessing, since, of course, that's what God had already said was going to happen. However, when she sees that Isaac is going to ignore all that, instead of trusting God to make it work out, she resorted to deception. We see deception continually creeping up and continually biting people in the butt throughout the stories that we've looked at. If Rebekah had gone to Isaac with meekness, selflessness, and truthfulness, reminded him of what God had said concerning their sons, remember Isaac was very much a God-fearing man, and reminded him of how Esau had forfeited the blessing both by selling his birthright for the lentil stew and by marrying of unapproved wives, it's probable, or at least possible, Isaac would have given the blessing to Jacob and not needed to be tricked into it. Rebekah wronged Isaac by deceiving him. She wasn't truthful. She wronged Jacob by tempting him and telling him to lie. And she put a stumbling block in Esau's way and gave him a reason to hate Jacob. So there was a lot of fallout from Rebekah's decision, just like there was a lot of fallout from Esau's decisions. It seems that Esau was not a man of his word and expected that he would get what he wanted when he wanted it, regardless of his prior behavior. Unfortunately, what we see this day is that Rebekah loses both of her sons and likely severely damages her relationship with Isaac, who goes on to live for several more decades. Principles: prudence, wisdom, and patience. If that would have been exercised, Rebekah may have been in a much different position, and Jacob would have been in a much different position. We see in the coming chapter that Esau gets very angry when he doesn't get the blessing, and Jacob is forced to flee. So Jacob flees, so he's not around with his mother. He had always stayed around the house with his mom. Now he's had to completely flee. Esau's angry with her. Isaac is angry with her. If she would have been more prudent, that might not have happened. If Esau had been more prudent, there might not have been the challenges. Respect. It was very disrespectful of Jacob as well as Rebekah to lie to Isaac. They showed a lack of respect. They showed deception. They showed a lack of truthfulness, which ended up severely damaging relationships. Being truthful, being patient, being prudent is not always comfortable, is not always the easy path, but ultimately being deceptive often results in people not trusting us and creating discord between people. And meekness. If Rebekah would have just simply been selfless and meek and presented her case to Isaac instead of taking it upon herself and saying, okay, I'm going to right this wrong, then if she would have trusted God to do it, if she would have been meek and not thought that she had to do it, it also may have turned out differently.